Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005 on your Saturday night. It is the Linex Spray On 200 at my home track, the Michigan International Speedway. This is going to be an interesting one today. Just 100 laps, 200 miles set for tonight's race. Daytime, of course, looks like a mostly cloudy sky, overcast, which means drafting will be at a premium, which we kind of expected. Drafting would be at a premium tonight at Michigan, considering that this is a very big oval. We have seen some great races at Michigan and California on this game. In fact, we already raced at California for our one and only time this season a few races ago. Had a great finish there. I'm sure we're going to have a great finish here. We have just had a lot of great finishes this year. In 8 races this season, 6 of them have just been outstanding finishes, to say the least. We've had a couple last lap passes for the win. We've had 2 green-white checkers this season already. Of course, our last race we just ran was a green-white checker finish a couple nights ago, so we'll see how tonight's race will go. I do remember from our first season for the Truck Series in this game, Michigan was one of the races. Michigan, and there was another race that I can't quite remember. It might have been Daytona, but for whatever reason, there were 2 races. Michigan was one of them in which we had a lot of cautions. We may have a lot of cautions again today. We'll see what will happen. Of course, we got to get this race going. Like, share, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content as usual. Got daily NASCAR content on the channel, live commentary, full race live streams, video games, real races once the season kicks off, of course, for NASCAR. We are just 4 weeks away from the Busch Clash. Live commentary for the heat races, the main event for that race. It's going to be a big live stream on the channel. You guys just flat out knocked it out of the park. The last 2 live commentary races we did last season, the Xfinity Series Championship, we had a few thousand people, a few thousand views just in 24 hours on that one. Then the race before that, which was the last Cup race I did last year at Talladega, is one of the most viewed. It is the most viewed stream on the channel. I don't know what it's at now, but I know within the first 24 hours it's up to like 17,000 views. It was absolutely ridiculous. So that is going to be a very hyped up live stream that we are going to be having here in a few weeks, and I'm going to keep hyping it up because I am very excited for that. Patrick Chatterley, Billy Kramer, Parkway Interest, Rebel Assassin, welcome to the stream. I did see your Chiefs win, Billy. I watched the end of the game. By the end of the game, I meant pretty much the entire last series that KC had the ball, and that was it. Green flag is in the air. We are underway at Michigan. A little wheel spin there on the restart for Bobby Hamilton as he's trying to get up to speed. He made a bit of contact with the truck on his inside of Andy Lyman. And off the exit of turn 2, a lot of 3x3 action. Nearly a crash on the opening lap of the race. Travis Kvapil got pinched into the outside wall, and Hamilton was far enough back after spinning his tires on the start that he's able to gain 10 positions on the opening lap. I mentioned right before we started this race that we had a lot of cautions at Michigan when we were here in the lone race in Season 1 for the Truck Series, and now this custom schedule season we might be seeing a lot of the same thing. Brandon Wynn has won back-to-back races. He swept our doubleheader on Thursday en route to his first 2 wins of the season. And he is already leading after leading lap 1 here today, starting towards the front of the field. Contact into turn 2. Saw some sparks flying as they're 3 wide again off the exit of the corner. Going to have to watch a potential stack up off the exit of turn 4. Hamilton's going to the inside just in case. Got room to run underneath Barry Wilder in the 108 truck. Over-under on how many cautions we're going to have tonight. We're going to have it at 4.5. You guys think we're going to have more or less than 4 cautions? Hamilton a little loose off turn 2. Barely kept it off of Wilder off the exit of the corner and barely kept it off the wall as well. He does not want to be on the outside, but Wilder crossed him over. And more sparks flying off the exit of turn 4. Speaking of sparks flying, Bobby Hamilton just clipped the wall again. I don't know why I said again. That was the first time I hit the wall. Yeah, that'll be a big game for you to watch tomorrow then. As far as how the Tennessee game goes. Luckily, my team's got the #1 seed. Wilder again going to cross Hamilton over 3 wide. Carl Edwards on the outside, Hamilton in the middle. Contact, he gets squeezed between Wilder and Edwards. He got a little loose before that. And just a bit loose, clipped the right rear. Oh, car in the wall, hard down the racetrack. Big hit and almost upside down goes, I believe, Adam Bell in the 123. It was Bell. Hard hit into the wall, but an even harder hit down the racetrack into the 157. Knocked up onto the left side of his race truck, and somehow Hamilton was able to avoid in the middle of the corner down to the bottom. Had to go into the grass in the middle of the corner to miss it, as well as another truck, and a huge pileup already in the opening laps at Michigan. Ethan, Jesus, Manuel Ortiz, welcome to the stream. Hamilton's going to stay out of the pit lane. Everybody else will stay out as well. That was a big-time wreck avoidance for Bobby Hamilton to start this race. Green flag back in the air at Michigan. Like he was only able to gain 1 spot out of it. He's got his teammate Chad Chafin right behind him, who also did not have a big qualifying effort. Not in a good way, at least. Well, there's our first caution. I saw Billy set over on 4.5. We already had one at lap 6. It didn't take long. Been seeing a lot of contact in turns 3 and 4 leading up to that caution on lap 6. And the field's bunched right back together again, though this time single file. That's the dangers with no practice or qualifying for Bobby Hamilton's sake, though. Starting at the back, putting himself in harm's way if that were to happen at the start of the race. Had a big crash in front of him, nearly a big crash on the opening lap off the exit of turn 2 when Travis Quappel got into the wall. Luckily, he was able to miss him. He's got Robbie Young. Robbie Young throwing some blocks right now on Bobby Hamilton. Hamilton into the wall into turn 3. And making that mistake is going to allow Doug Thompson to get to the inside. Thompson not going to be able to pull off a pass. 10 laps complete here at Michigan. 90 to go. 43 days to the Daytona 500. The countdown is definitely on. Speed Weeks is almost here. Got preseason Thunder next week at Daytona. NASCAR should consider driverless Teslas on the racetrack. I would not want to watch that, honestly. I'd like to see what drivers could do talent-wise. Preferably. One truck is very slow getting into turns 1 and 2 and has dropped out of the pack. It must have already been behind Hamilton. I would have to imagine the big hits that Adam Bell took, he's got a lot of damage to his race truck, as well as the 121 who ended up hitting him when Bell was on his way back down the track. Pretty big run into the tri-oval this time. Hamilton looked at the inside of Bell, but Bell did not give him any room. I wanted to quickly get to the inside of Sweeney in the 192 truck. Oh man, there was that truck into turn 3 with the blown engine. There were 3 wide nearly on the outside of him. Luckily, he was down on the apron of the racetrack. He's trying to stay out of harm's way, and he should get to the pit lane before anybody else closes in on him. Big move for Hamilton in the tri-oval. He's going to take it 3 wide into turn 1. Really going to hope that Bell does not pinch him off this time, and he does not. Hamilton with the advantage, had a little bit of his front bumper out ahead of Bell. Brandon Witt still out in the race lead, trying to go for 3 wins in a row. We saw Hamilton win 5 in a row from races 2 through 6. Race 7 through 9 potentially could be the 3-way race win streak for Brandon Witt, who closed into 3rd in the point standings after those 2 wins. Really isn't all that far out of the race lead as far as the points are concerned. Three wide into turn 3. Craftsman underneath Scott Bush, Carl Richards. John Wood going to follow that line. They're still 3 wide off the exit of turn 4. Now they're 2 by 2. Richards nearly gets into the wall in the tri-oval after Scott Bush threw a block on him. Hamilton clears Spear into turn 1 for position and drives underneath Richards, who still stays wide on the racetrack. Hamilton to the outside of Drigsby in the 153 truck. It's going to give Bobby Hamilton a big run now into the tri-oval. Now he'll drive underneath the 153. Shane Kirkland in the 86 as well to the outside. Aaron McGee has taken the race lead once again. Second time he has led in this one. Brandon Witt definitely has led the most so far. And not only he's got back-to-back wins, but he led the most laps in both races. So it was back-to-back max points days for Brandon Witt as well. He led only 2 more laps than Hamilton in that last race at Las Vegas. And he only led 3 more laps than Aaron McGee, who is battling right now for the lead with Brandon Witt. Another big run. Hamilton pulls out a line. Potentially now he'll just sit back behind Wood. Didn't have a big enough of a run to try and risk taking it 3 wide. It wasn't worth the risk at least. Good contact with the 191. Hamilton's moving his way forward. You can already guarantee that he's not going to be able to pull away from the pack once he gets to the lead, if he can get to the lead, of course. 113 truck to the inside. 3 wide pass in turns 1 and 2. He'll complete it on John Wood and Scott Bush. Wood pulls clear of Bush, as well does Hamilton. Scott Bush just lost 3 positions that time in turns 1 and 2. Being in that 3rd lane on the outside. He's going to try to cross Wood over, though, into turn 3 on the bottom following Hamilton. Hamilton slides up the track just a bit in the center of the corner now, and Bush is trying to get underneath him. Can't quite do it. He almost got to the left rear corner panel. Hamilton through the block in time. Got a second truck in the pit lane who is now blowing an engine. Wonder if any of those might be Adam Bell in the 123, considering he's got a lot of damage if he is still out on the racetrack. Couldn't tell who the first one was and didn't even see the second truck until just now. He was already in the pits. Well, it's the longest green flag run of the race so far. 12 laps in the early going. Hamilton up to 9th place. Big time crossover for the 103. Hamilton trying to hang on to the outside. Scrapes the wall. It's going to hurt his speed down the back, although he's still going to be able to clear the 103 truck into turn 3, even with the wall scrape. Second time Hamilton has scraped the wall already. Didn't hit the wall a single time back in California. Now he gets into the wall off turn 4. Holding himself back. Giving up the bottom again. See if he can keep it off the wall this time. That time he did. A little loose, but he did keep it off the wall. Gets the run off the high side. Pulls back clear. Into turns 3 and 4 in the dirty air. He drives underneath the 64 of Ryan Carter. Carter trying to pinch. Thought about going 3 wide up the middle between Hamilton and Benny Allen. He's still considering it. He had a bit of help with the draft off of Ace Johnson in the 139, but it wasn't enough. Hamilton clears both drivers into turn 1 for 7. No autopilot Teslas on the race? No. No, I do not want that. I agree that the teams should get more credit than what they probably get right now for performance on race day. But the driver does make up the majority of it, because at the end of the day, the driver has to perform. It's all in the driver's hands at the end of the day of what goes on the racetrack. So if you don't have any drivers inside of a race car, I mean, you're taking out over 50%, in my opinion, of what racing is. Hamilton has cracked the top 5 for the first time. The top 4 is really pulled away, though, from the rest of the field, who is in one giant pack. See if Hamilton can try to run him down. It's going to be tough to do it on his own. I would assume it's going to be a 1 pit stop race today, just like California was scheduled to be. We did have 3 cautions in that race. Again, 1 already, and this one is we're a quarter of the way home. First caution came back on lap 6. Big crash started when Adam Bell spun on the corner entry into turn 3 on his own. Backed it down in front of traffic. And the problem is Hamilton is not able to pull away from the trucks behind him because of the draft. He's going to try to break it on the inside in the trial. Well, he's doing what he can. Bill Lester just led his first lap of the race the last time by. He is someone who we have talked about a lot this year for good reasons and bad. The only bad is the fact that he has 2 DNFs this year. Both the races that he had a capable race-winning truck. He's led a lot of laps in a handful of different races. He's still second in the most laps led category so far this season. Almost 200 behind Bobby Hamilton now. Hamilton has not led yet today, though. I don't even know if he's got the fastest race truck. He's not really closing in on the top 2 of Bill Lester and Brandon Witt. It does feel as if he's closing in on the battle for 3rd. 2 trucks are side by side right now down the back into turn 3, so they're going to slow each other up, racing each other. Hamilton might need a caution to try and get a little bit more drafting help to get to those guys. He is starting to pull away from the trucks behind him finally. Are you talking about like a standard vehicle, or are you talking a race car that you saw in the news? I would assume standard vehicle. I wouldn't even trust that myself. I just feel it's hard enough when other people are driving for me, just because I'm used to driving long distances and traveling places when I'm going to races and stuff. It feels awkward for me to be in the back seat, number one. And then even for me to ride passenger seat, it almost feels awkward now. A little uncomfortable at first until I'm in the vehicle for a long period of time. I wouldn't say uncomfortable, I'd say uneasy. It's probably a better description. And we got our first bot in the chat tonight. There we go. I don't think we had a single one last night. Not that I remember. Halfway on fuel as they were getting to lap 30. So again, it is scheduled to be a one-stop race today, even with the caution laps. I should say even without the caution laps. Caution laps that we already had only further help that. No news on Quinn Health. Yeah, I haven't seen anything yet either. I don't think he's ever going to be anything more than just a backmarker driver running some fill-ins or part-time rides here and there. I don't think he'll ever run a full-time schedule ever again in any series in NASCAR. I don't think he's going to ever be put in competitive equipment either. Oh, that's right. Your holiday party was last night. Well, it was actually a pretty decent race, even though we had issues early. Had a minor mishap early in the race that kind of put us back with no drafting help, but we actually fought ourselves back up to 17. I'd say we still would have had a shot at the win until about 80 to 90 laps to go. Then got involved in an accident, middle of the tri-oval. My car got a little loose and turned myself off the front bumper of somebody into the inside retaining wall at the end of the front stretch. And no caution came out, and that took us out of it there, and we DNF'd. For the 10th time, 10 DNFs in the 26 race regular season. Still the number one seed for the playoffs, though, based off the 8 wins we had earlier in the year. Heading into that first playoff race next week at Darlington, the Southern 500. Hamilton can close in on Aaron McGee in the 163 truck. He's going to have a little bit better time trying to catch up to those leaders. Lester's really pulling away even from Witt. And in fact, Brandon Witt's about to lose second place. He's side by side off the exit of turn 2. Hamilton just close enough to be able to get a draft off of Aaron McGee. Maybe Witt doesn't quite have a long run race truck as we're past halfway through the opening fuel run of the race. Oh, contact in that battle for second as Witt gets into the back bumper. Whoever it is he's racing with. Not sure of it yet. That's going to allow Aaron McGee to even close in down the back straightaway along with Hamilton. Witt again trying to get to the inside and battle back for second place, but he's not quite going to be able to get there. Ashton G, welcome to the stream. And Wynn is there now, side by side for second. And as they slow each other up, running side by side, there's a big run from behind coming from Aaron McGee in the 163, who has led laps multiple times already today. He challenges the inside for third off the exit of turn 4, and he's there. And as these three trucks now battle for second, Bobby Hamilton is closing from behind, trying to make it a 4-truck battle for second place. As Brandon Witt currently has a spot, has to block the bottom into turn 3. I'm not sure if the testing, I would think that the testing will probably be on YouTube, considering the fact they had it at Charlotte. I feel like this is going to be the biggest test they've had so far. I haven't heard anything about it being televised, though. Jack Sprague in the 16, by the way, who was up here in the battle inside the top 5. Hamilton looking to the inside. Sprague side draft in the 163 truck back on the outside. McGee down to block Hamilton on entry into turn 1. Hamilton thought about taking it 3 wide. He gets a great exit to turn 2. He gets into the side of McGee. McGee barely keeps it off the wall. That's going to stack up Jack Sprague from behind, though, and move Hamilton up to 3rd. Tim Irvin, welcome to the stream. Is that who I think it is? It's the key gun. I'm not going to lie. You're the only one that calls me that. Never heard anybody call me that before. Not that I can remember, at least. He's running the draft down the back straightaway for Hamilton. It almost seems like Witt's starting to close back in, since moving back into second place on Lester, who he lost the lead from a little while back. Oh, I didn't even realize Brandon Witt is a rival of Bobby Hamilton as well. After the contact leading to the green-white checker finish in the last race at Las Vegas. So Hamilton's going to have to be careful. And he gets to Brandon Witt. Pit window is about open to the end of the race now. Right front tire starting to wear down just a little bit for Hamilton. Hamilton charges in turns 1 and 2. Pretty big run into turn 3. Trying the outside. Witt's going to go up there and block. Hamilton thought he had enough of a run when he went down to the apron that maybe he could have gotten to the left rear corner panel, but that wasn't the case that time. Witt's definitely going to be trying to block Hamilton repeatedly here. Big run off turn 4. Hamilton again looking low, down to the apron, nowhere to go. Witt blocked him all the way down. Got good NHL 22. Remember you saying you were 9 and 2. Last I heard of it. Last you mentioned it. Davion West, welcome to the stream also. I didn't see you in there. My bad for that one. And we got some drivers pitting off the exit of turn 4 this time as well. So green flag pit stops will begin at lap 45. Witt and Hamilton closing in on Bill Lester right before, or I should say right as these green flag pit stops are starting. I always thought Supercross started a little bit earlier in the winter. I think you could say that Witt and Hamilton have basically drafted each other up to this point. Bit of a run. Hamilton looking to the inside. Brandon Witt on the outside. Got to be careful in this situation. Witt may take a shot at Bobby Hamilton. Hamilton does not want to let that happen if he could help it. They're still side by side in the tri-oval, which is allowing Lester to pull just a tad. Hamilton drives it deep into turn 1 on the bottom. Hangs on, clear off the exit of turn 2. Hamilton to second. Trying to run down Bill Lester in the 22 truck. Gonna try to share draft down the back straightaway now. He'll likely try to do it again on the front stretch. Welcome back, Patrick. Also got to watch Brandon Witt maybe turning the Ford truck from behind as well with him being a rival. So a 3-truck battle for the lead at MIS. Nearly halfway home. One caution, which was back on lap 6. Adam Bell spinning, causing a big crash in turns 3 and 4. Hamilton had to go into the grass just to miss it down on the bottom of the racetrack. Hamilton trying to share draft down the straightaways. He's not really able to get close enough to Lester to pull out, make a move, try to pass. He's really worried about Brandon Witt out of the rear view with him being a rival. He passed him cleanly that time. Clean air definitely always seems to matter at Michigan, California, but the draft definitely keeps it a little bit closer. Using the share draft, though, in the straightaways is allowing Lester and Hamilton to pull away from Brandon Witt just a bit. And we'll be halfway home this time by. About an eighth of a tank left of fuel for Bobby Hamilton. He'd like to get 5 bonus points before he has to pit for the first time today. He's probably got less than 10 laps to try and take the lead. And there it is, halfway home, 50 laps down, 50 to go, as Bill Lester has led the most laps so far, or at least pretty darn close with the most laps led to Brandon Witt. Hamilton got a little loose off turn 2. He's going to try to intimidate Lester. We got another truck hitting the pit lane, might be scheduled. See if Lester's going to shake at all. Not that time. Lester does get loose at all. Hamilton's got to make sure he's going to miss him. Hamilton's tires are wearing out. Definitely feel the truck on the more free side. And there he goes. Lester got loose, and that's going to be all it takes for Hamilton to get to the inside. Now he's going to try to side draft the 22. Is it going to be enough for Bobby Hamilton to make the pass, though? Not quite. Lester hangs on. And Brandon Witt just pit that last time by as well. Trying to short pit versus these two in front of him. And there he goes. Lester got loose again into turn 3, but every time Hamilton pulls out a line, he gets to the inside of the 22, but he can't make the pass. Again, trying to side draft. Lester threw the block at the start-finish line, and he was not clear. And that will allow Bobby Hamilton to get to the lead. Bill Lester did lead that lap by about a half a truck length. So as long as Hamilton leads back to the start-finish line this time, we'll get 5 bonus points, and then he'll probably pit the next lap after because he's running pretty low on fuel. But he wants to make sure he's going to get a lap led. Lester going to stay out of the pits this time off turn 4. That bad block by Lester cost him. He held on the first time Hamilton got to the inside. He might have been able to hold on again. It's just a bad block. These guys staying out now 3 laps longer than Brandon Witt. Very crucial. Lester to the inside of Hamilton. Bill Lester just got a really fast race truck tonight. Side by side for the lead down the back straightaway. Hamilton on the outside trying to side draft the 22, pulling back as much as he can. Now into turn 3. Lester's clear. Hamilton's got to drop in line behind him anyway because Hamilton will pit this time off of turn 4. Lester is going to stay out. I wondered if he was coming in or not. So Bill Lester stays out. 70 miles an hour is a pit road speed limit. No adjustments, 4 tires and fuel for the Ford truck of Bobby Hamilton. The money stop, the lone stop of tonight's race. Five-goal lead on the Sharks. That's domination. You get up by more than 3 goals in a hockey game. That's a blowout. There goes Brandon Witt. Oh, that had the potential of a blend line violation for Bobby Hamilton. He saw Bill Lester coming. He tried to pull up thinking Lester was going to check up. Lester did not check up. There was pretty significant contact up the exit of turn 2. Lester wanted to make sure, Hamilton wanted to make sure he was going to be on the lead lap still in case a caution were to come out, but it looks like Lester is going to pit this time anyway. So Bill Lester pits off of turn 4. Brandon Witt should cycle back to the race lead when everybody does end up pitting. Aaron McGee also in the pits as we speak. Now Hamilton's going to have to try to run down Brandon Witt. He's only got 3-lap pressure tires. That just goes to show how much of an advantage it was when the rest of the field had about 50-lap older tires than Witt for 3 laps, and how far he was able to pull away from both Hamilton and Lester. My evening is going great. Hopefully yours is as well. Bill Lester coming out of the pit lane again. Brandon Witt will easily cycle to the lead. It's going to be interesting, though, if Lester's going to be able to cycle in front of the 4. I don't think he will. There's Aaron McGee. Lester still on the apron trying to get up to speed. It's going to be really close. Hamilton held him back as much as he could. I don't think it was enough. So Bill Lester will remain in second place. So I guess that was all for nothing for Hamilton. A little bit of damage to the back bumper. It definitely could have been worse. So now, Lester and Hamilton going to have to try to run Witt down in the final 42 laps. About 2.6 seconds back. Had a lot of late cautions this year. Again, in 8 races. 7 of which we've seen a caution in the final 30 laps. Or sorry, 6 of which in the final 30 laps or less, and we've only gone caution-free in 1 race, which was at Darlington. That was the 5th race of the season. Lester definitely with a much wider arc into turns 3 and 4. Going wide in turns 1 and 2 as well. I think he's a little on the tighter side because that was more than just a wide arc into the corner. Unless he intentionally went that wide. It did not help him whatsoever. And Hamilton's close enough to be able to draft off Lester. Now he's going to try to challenge to the inside into turn 3, but Lester throws the block in the middle of the corner. Oh, and 8. Oh, that's rough. I commend you for playing on a hard difficulty, I'm assuming that. That's how you get good. Lester's thrown some big time blocks on Bobby Hamilton. He threw 1 when they were battling for the lead. The lap before they pit. How low Hamilton's going, almost into the grass. He had to pull up so he wasn't going to clip the grass down the back straightaway. Lester blocked him all the way to the apron. Remember, Wynn is a rival, though, of Bobby Hamilton. So if Hamilton catches him, he did pass him clean once today. I'm not going to say that's exactly going to happen again with that much ease. Hamilton getting squeezed off the exit of turn 2. Look at how low Lester's running him, even though they're side by side down the wide back straightaway at Michigan. And again, Lester holds on. Hamilton to the outside in turns 3 and 4. He's doing all he can. Lester's holding him up. And now the dive in the middle of 3 and 4 to the inside of Lester. Side by side into the tri-oval. He's had a hard time trying to even pass the 22 cleanly before the pit stop as well. Hamilton with the advantage. He's still down low. Lester in the middle of the corner on the outside. These guys have really slowed each other up. They were 2.2 back in the lead, and they've lost 0.3 of a second in about a half a lap, just over a half a lap now. Hamilton will clear Lester into turn 3 for second place. Hamilton's led just 1 lap today, but with 36 to go, he is in second, 2.5 seconds off the lead of Brandon Witt, who is trying to win 3 races in a row. And considering how big of a lead he's got right now, Lester's led the most laps so far. But if Witt leads quite a few more laps before Hamilton can catch him, there's a good chance Brandon Witt's going to lead the most laps for his 3rd consecutive race, which means if he wins, it'll be 3 consecutive max points days. Look at the season championship. Brandon Witt is really closing in on Bobby Hamilton, just getting to 3rd place. He's not far behind Edwards for 2nd. Edwards isn't even that far out of the lead. I know Hamilton won 5 races in a row, but Carl Edwards has 6 straight top 5 finishes as well. I should say 7. Yeah, 7 straight top 5 finishes, including back-to-back thirds in our doubleheader. Hamilton also has 7 straight top 5s, though, along with it. So Hamilton has maintained or has barely, and I mean barely, grown that lead. That's why it is crucial Hamilton won all those races in a row like he did. Edwards not far behind. Not sure where he's running tonight. We saw him mid-pack earlier in the race. That was very early. It was right after the restart. Not sure how everything cycled after that pit stop. playing on semi-pro. I will say the NHL games were definitely the hardest of the sports games I played growing up, as far as trying to get used to everything. It's so much more fast paced than any other sport in general too, as far as not motorsport of course, but of the four major sports, for instance in the US, that one by far is the fastest. I always had a hard time trying to play the game when I was using the goalie on top of playing. If I was ever using the goalie, it was hard for me to go above 500 if I was doing a season. So, I mean, you mess up just once, you're giving up a goal. When you're playing on a harder difficulty, it's really hard to score 3, 4, 5 goals in a game. So if you mess up a couple times in a game, your chances of winning are almost out the window. Hamilton has pulled away from Lester after passing him, even though it took him a few laps to get around him with Lester holding him up. He's about 1.9 seconds off the race lead from Brandon Witt. 31 laps to go this time by. And for the third straight race, it's going to come down to the 38 to 4. And if one of these two win this race today, then that means it'll be 8 consecutive races that the winner has either been Bobby Hamilton or Brandon Witt. So far, it has been 7 straight, Hamilton with 5, Witt with 2 in that stretch. Thought Lester and Edwards were championship contenders, which they still are, especially considering Lester's in third tonight. But thought that they were the biggest threats through the first probably 6 races. After the last 2, Witt having both wins and max points days and has closed that gap on Hamilton. Really, the big difference maker, the only reason it's as close of a battle as it is, even with all these drivers still getting a lot of top 5s that are competing for the championship, it's because Hamilton finished 18th in the season opener at Daytona, where you got guys like Carl Edwards. I believe at Daytona he finished 11th or 12th. So he beat us by a few positions there, and then he finished in the top 5 every other race after that. Definitely makes the bonus points that much more important when the points battle itself is extremely tight. And that's why Hamilton wanted to make sure he led that lap before he pitted, because he wasn't sure if he was going to be able to get a shot to get back to the lead. Because so far, with 29 laps to go, that is still the only lap he has led this entire race. Was staying out just as long as he could to lead that lap during green flag pit stops. Everybody's good on fuel and tires to the end. I would imagine because of that early caution and the fact that we don't have any lap traffic, I don't think anybody, at least in the top half of the field, will pit if we received a late yellow. Five of the 8 races this year, we've seen a caution in the final 8 laps or less. So that's kind of our trend marker. 6 of which we've seen one in the last 30 laps. Michigan had a lot of cautions when we were here last season for the Truck Series on this game. Here in 2022 with this custom schedule season, only one so far today. It looked like we were going to have another wreckfest of a race at Michigan like we tend to see. This and Watkins Glen seem to always bring those kind of races out for whatever reason. But it tamed up pretty quickly. We've seen a lot of great racing since the caution still. But as far as the cautions themselves go, it's definitely gotten a lot more tame. Hamilton's creeping on Brandon Witt. I imagine he's going to have a hard time trying to get around him just like he did with the 22. Clean air advantage for Brandon Witt is very crucial. Fairly equal tires, only 3 lap pressure for Hamilton, which is pretty much worn off at this point in the run. I mean, once you get double the amount of laps you have fresher tires, then it pretty much evens itself right back out again. So after about 6 laps, there wasn't even a difference. It's just flat out, at this point, Hamilton's a bit quicker than Brandon Witt. We kind of saw during the opening fuel run of the race that it seemed like Brandon Witt was a bit slower as the run went on. I don't know if Hamilton just got quicker or if Witt himself got slower. I'd like to think Witt himself got slower because Bill Lester also worked his way around him. And then even Jack Sprague had passed him for second place before Witt battled him back. Then eventually Hamilton ended up taking second away from Witt as well. Not used to the new NHL games. Yeah, I would assume if you haven't played in a while that the handling of the game is a little different. If I remember it, so the very first NHL game I had Jonathan Toews on the cover, so whatever year that was, I want to say it was 09. I think it was 09. It was either 09 or 10. That was the first one I had for my PS3 at the time. And then I didn't get another one until like 17 or 18. I think 17, and then I had it like 3 years in a row. And I noticed that a lot of the controls changed. Which, granted, when you have a game that's like 8 to 9 years older than the previous one you played at, you would expect the controls would probably change over time, especially that long period of a time. So, kind of like I mentioned earlier, but that was the hardest game to get used to in general just because of how fast-paced it is. It can be a lot of fun, though, and you'll get the hang of it eventually. It'll click. It just comes with repetition. So Hamilton was 2.5 seconds back when he first got around the 22 truck. And that was with about 42 laps to go. So in about 15 to 20 laps, almost exactly 20 laps really, he's gained a second and a half. So with 22 to go, he is pacing to get to Brandon Witt probably right around, I'd say 10 to go. Anywhere between 7 to 10 laps to go, he should get to Brandon Witt. And the race will be on from there. I think there is a capability that they will catch lap traffic before the end of the race. It can go one of two ways. If Witt can get around him in the corners or maybe even clear him on the straightaways quick enough, I think that could help him because he can use the draft, which he doesn't have any draft, but neither does Hamilton. They're pretty equal as far as draft goes. And then get around him, or he could get held up by him. I will say, though, these last 2 laps, the 38 and the Ford truck have been pretty equal with one another. 20 laps to go. Hamilton may get to win a little quicker than 7 to 10 laps to go, only because if he gets into the draft, once he gets about a half a second or less back behind Brandon Witt, that may allow him to close that gap a lot quicker. And that very first initial run he gets in the draft behind him is probably going to be the biggest run he's going to get in order to try and pass the 38. So he definitely can't just wait around. He's got to go for it. Halfway on field, but again, everybody's good on field to the end. No issue. At least 3 trucks out of the race today. I say at least only because we did have a big crash on lap 6. Maybe somebody DNF'd out of that earlier. Unaware if anybody did. I know Adam Bell survived it, and he probably took the biggest hits in that crash. Not sure who exactly hit him. That's really the only other truck I could think of that could be out of the race from that crash. Was the one that initially hit Bell when he came sliding back down the banking of the racetrack in the middle of the corner. Not quite close enough for Hamilton to be able to draft Brandon Witt yet. But he is getting close. And Witt is also getting really close to the first lap truck of the race. Witt definitely seems to be a bit better in turns 1 and 2 than 3 and 4. Then Hamilton seems to be a bit better than Witt in turns 3 and 4. Yeah, Brandon Witt was able to draft off the lap truck that last lap, and he actually pulled away from Hamilton by about 1/10 of a second. So that's not going to help Bobby Hamilton at all. That's what I wondered. The lap traffic is either going to help Brandon Witt or it's going to hurt him just for that reason. How much a draft is so much of an importance on these 2-mile-plus ovals. That was Robbie Young in the 157. Witt cleared him pretty easily down the back straightaway as well. Now it's Hamilton's turn in the tri-oval to try and get a draft off of Robbie Young. Try to gain that 1/10 of a second he lost 2 laps ago right back again. And from 6/10 of a second off the lead, he's right back to a half a second back. So he did gain that 10th back drafting off of Robbie Young. He'll get to the inside in turns 1 and 2. I don't think... Churchy called Hamilton clear, but I don't trust that Hamilton is clear. It's pretty close into turn 3. Now Hamilton's clear. Didn't want to risk making any contact this late in the race. And don't forget, though, that Brandon Witt is also a rival. Kind of forgot to mention that over this. Not quite a battle yet, but it is about to be a battle for the race win between the two of these drivers. And here it is. Hamilton's close enough now. Witt running off the wall quite a bit down the back straightaway, trying to snake an accordion line his way down the back straightaway, trying to break the draft. Hamilton trying to get him loose. He doesn't want to deal with him. Witt got a little bit loose in the middle of 3 and 4. Hamilton trying to side draft that left rear corner panel. Side by side for the lead with 12 laps to go into turn 1. Hamilton on the inside of Witt. He's really got to hope that that 38 truck does not hit him. Hamilton trying to stay pinned to that yellow line. Not sure if Hamilton's right on his corner panel side drafting him or not. Into turn 3. Hamilton pretty flat into the corner. Witt is still on the outside. Hamilton going to shut the door off turn 4. He's clear. 11 to go. Another lead change. Bobby Hamilton Sr. to the lead at Michigan. This is only his second lap led the entire race. Double wide, lap traffic out in front. Witt gonna try to get to the inside. Oh, he nearly turns the Ford truck. Oh my goodness, what a save from Bobby Hamilton. Big time save. We mentioned he was a rival and he just clipped the left rear quarter panel of the 4 of Hamilton and hangs on to the lead. 10 to go this time by. I'm sure that Brandon Witt did not appreciate, or does not appreciate, Bobby Hamilton. Even though Hamilton raced him clean both times he's raced around Witt today. I wondered if he was going to try to do that. Well, he did. Worst part is they still got lap traffic double wide out in front of him, and Witt was still close enough behind Hamilton even after the contact that he was able to draft. Bill Lester is likely still in 3rd place. I'm not sure interval-wise how far behind these two he is. 9 laps to go that time at the line. Considering though it's still 18 miles to the checkered flag, we are far from over. And Brandon Witt is coming in hot in turns 1 and 2, and he may try to turn the Ford truck again. Hamilton better be careful. He's trying to block down the backstretch now. Desperately trying to block. Into turn 3. Witt overdrives the corner. He goes to the outside. That might be intentional. We'll see how big of a run he's going to get into the tri-oval now by running the top. Hamilton's going to stay low trying to break the draft, but Witt might be able to draft off the lap trucks in front of him if he is close enough. Wesley Schmidt and Keith Grimsley. Witt is better in 1 and 2 than Hamilton. Kind of noticed that even when Witt had the lead. Witt nearly in the wall as he almost overdrives the corner. They've got back into the gas just a bit too soon. Hamilton sends it into turn 3. There's a little bit of dirty air, though, in front of him, so he got a bit tight. Oh, boy, and Witt closed because of it. Nearly gets underneath him. 7 to go. Hamilton going to be able to draft off Schmidt in the tri-oval. He's going to go down to the bottom of the racetrack. Trying to block. Oh, no. Witt's going to use the lap truck as a pick. Brandon Witt used the lap truck of Wesley Schmidt as a pick to get around Bobby Hamilton. Hamilton trying to challenge on the inside again, but Witt's going to throw the block. Genius move by Brandon Witt to get his way back around the 4. Hamilton had to clear Grimsley off turn 4 and does. 6 laps to go at the line. Witt's not a rival anymore, thankfully. I think he got his aggression out when he tried to turn Hamilton the first time. Hamilton to the outside in turns 1 and 2. Witt's just going up there trying to protect at this point. Lap truck down to the bottom of the racetrack. Oh no! Hamilton's in the wall off of turn 2. He couldn't hold on to the top in the corner, and he cracked the wall pretty good. 5 to go this time by. Is he going to have enough time to get back to Brandon Witt? Because that slowed Hamilton down quite a bit. Big mistake. Hate to see it end that abruptly with still laps left in this one. It's not over yet. By any means. There's still 2 lap trucks side by side up there, but they need to stay side by side. Otherwise, Witt's just going to be able to draft off of them as well and perhaps pull away from Hamilton. Brandon Witt trying to win 3 races in a row. Four to go this time by. 8 more miles at Michigan. And potentially 3 straight max points days in a row for Brandon Witt as he tries to close in on Bobby Hamilton Sr. in the standings. Still 13 races to go following this one. Only 23 races in this Truck Series custom schedule season. Yeah, side-by-side lap traffic right in front of Brandon Witt is holding him up. This is going to give Hamilton at least a shot, perhaps. Grimsley may get to the inside of Witt this time. There's nowhere for Witt to go. He is 3 wide in the middle off the exit of turn 4. Has to be yelling at his spotter to get these guys out of my way. And now the 3 wide behind him, so Wynn is finally cleared. It did cost him a bit of time. Hamilton's going to be able to draft through the tri-oval behind Grimsley in the 119 truck. But now he's going to have to get around these 3 trucks as quick as he can. Witt's got clean air in front of him again. The drafting help is definitely helping Bobby Hamilton. Now he's going to have to make a very, very quick pass to the inside. Into turn 3. He overdrives the corner. He was all the way to the apron, and now the lap trucks are holding up Bobby Hamilton just as much as they were holding up everyone else. 2 to go. It's Lee Anderson in the 121 on the outside. He should clear him off the exit of turn 2. I don't know if Hamilton's going to have enough time. Grimsley's really been holding him up. He's got a big run in the draft down the back straightaway. But he needs to get by Grimsley this time into turn 3. Drives it in pretty flat. Grimsley not giving him a lot of room. He'll clear him off of turn 4. And he's going to have 1 lap to try and make up a half a second on Brandon Witt. They will get to the white flag. It's Checkers or Wreckers. Final lap at Michigan. A half a second is a lot of ground to make up, but if he can get in the draft down the back straightaway, that's going to be his only hope. Problem is, Brandon Witt is just as good, if not a little bit quicker, 1 and 2. And I just don't think there's enough time for Bobby Hamilton to get there. He's going to try to intimidate, but he may be just a little bit too far back. 3 wins in a row for Brandon Witt. The 3rd of which coming tonight at Michigan, another race in which he dominates. Checkered flag 3rd win of the year. And a 3rd straight 2nd place finish behind Brandon Witt for Bobby Hamilton. And he had a chance. The race winning move was 6 laps to go for Brandon Witt to get back around the 4 truck of Hamilton after Hamilton passed him 3 laps prior. Came because of lap traffic. Not that they were holding him up too much when Hamilton himself had the lead, but because they were side by side in front of him. And he just got picked behind him. And then when he tried to run the outside in 1 and 2 to get a run off the exit of the corner, he scraped the wall and he fell out of drafting range behind Witt. Lap trucks helped him make up that ground, but then it also hurt him, that same ground he made up. By the time he cleared Grimsley with a lap and a half to go, he just didn't have enough time to gain a half a second on Brandon Witt. He gave it his all. 0.4 of a second is the margin of victory. 1 hour and 10 minutes total time on today's race. A long green flag run to end this one. 91 lap green flag run after only caution was on lap 6 early in the race. A big crash in turns 3 and 4. 48 laps led of the 100 tonight for Brandon Witt. Bobby Hamilton led only 6 laps, 5 of which, though, in the closing stages. 13 lead changes, average speed of 171.32 miles an hour. Travis Kvapil didn't lead a lap, but finished 3rd. 32 laps led for Bill Lester today. He also ran up front for a little bit, but he didn't have as quick of a pit stop as Brandon Witt or Bobby Hamilton. Well, I guess he had equal stop with Hamilton, but Hamilton had more speed in the second half of the race than Lester. They might have went the wrong way on an adjustment. And Carl Edwards rounds out the top 5. What a streak this man is on. That is 8 straight top 5s for Edwards as well as Bobby Hamilton. We talk about Brandon Witt closing on the championship, and he is definitely closing. Edwards is maintaining his spot in the points. He's barely finishing behind Hamilton, if he is finishing behind him, with this insane streak of his own. Aaron McGee led 11 laps early in the race after qualifying 5th. Brandon Witt, by the way, also qualified 2nd. 6th place finish for McGee. Jack Sprague finishes 7th. He ran as high as 2nd today. Matt Crafton finishes 8th. Jack Baker 9th. And Aaron Johnson rounds out the top 10. 1 lap led for Larry Watson. Benny Allen led 2 laps. Probably in the middle of green flag pit stops, I'd assume. And we'll take a look at who all Dia now. Chad Chafin blew an engine. Bob Spear blew an engine. Andy Lyman blew an engine. Carl Richards blew an engine. Kenny Hall blew an engine. So 5 drivers failed to finish this race today at Michigan, leaving 26 trucks to finish on the lead lap in this 36 truck field. So that is going to wrap everything up here tonight. Like, share, and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content as usual. We'll be back at it again. NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005 tomorrow night. Let me check the start time. I believe 7 p.m. is what we're shooting for tomorrow. But let me double check on that real quick. Our next race of this Craftsman Truck Series season will be at Milwaukee. 200 lap race there. 7 p.m. Yep, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow night. I was originally planning on going to the Packers and Lions game. I needed spark plugs for my car because my car is down a cylinder. I don't want to drive it right now, and probably shouldn't drive it as well. So unfortunately, because the guy that I have fixing it for me, I got the parts, had him yesterday, but he has not gotten over here. So I didn't buy my ticket yet. It's unfortunate. The one time a year that the Packers play, less than 4 hours away from me, and the only other game I could see within 4 hours is in Chicago, and it was a rainy game this year on a Sunday night. I wasn't going to drive there for it. And bummer. I don't get to watch my Packers play in person this year, but I will be watching the game on TV tomorrow regardless. And we still will keep the same start time I had originally scheduled. I'm not going to change that on you guys last second. So 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is what we will shoot for and go for tomorrow. We'll see if Brandon Wick can keep this win streak alive. That's 3 straight wins for him. He is definitely looking like a championship threat to Bobby Hamilton. They're going toe-to-toe. It's going to be a fun battle in the final 13 races. Like, share, and subscribe again. I will see you guys tomorrow night.